This track has one very unique feature: sand.
Oh! He's gone off fast.
This surface is super abrasive. It's about time management and temper management.
Look at Reynolds, 2 in the dirt down there. The hip and shoulder from Andre Heimgartner as well.
One lap too many, and you could pay the ultimate price.
What is this here? Lefty gone again.
Sure.
The sprint races are done, and today's race is 200 kilometres.
Dives down the inside. Good move.
It's going to take teamwork and strategy. The race can be won and lost from here. One mistake at a corner like this can send you from first to last.
Can he keep it from going in the sand?
I'm on the brink of history, and today's the day. It's a track that holds a lot of great memories. So it's only fitting, here I go for my 100.
This has been a day of perfection for Lowndes.
Now it's time for all the action from Barbagallo Raceway, live on Fox Sports.
Well, that corner there, I just went through there, it's about 280k. They are two heated competitors. This kid is dynamite. They've done it again.
Well, the sun is shining here at Barbagallo Raceway as the fans roll through the gates for the True Colour Track Walk. A great opportunity for them to get up close and personal with some of their favourite V8 supercar stars. And the drivers, they absolutely love the opportunity to meet their fans, sign some autographs, have a couple of photos and gear up for what is going to be a really big day of racing. Hello and welcome to Supercars Live, driven by Super Cheap Auto here on Fox Sports. I'm Jessica Yates. It is terrific to have your company for the final day of the UBET Perth Super Sprint here live from Barbagallo Raceway. Joining me for all of the action, it is a very good morning to Mark Scaife and Russell Ingall. Good morning, guys. Good to see you.
Morning, Jess. Morning, everybody.
Here we are back for the final day, and what a day it is gearing up to be, of course. We have the longer format this afternoon, 200 kilometres, but soft tyres too. Whole new ball game on Sunday.
Well, Russell and Ingall and I, we are both fans of the soft tyre because the body language of the car changes, there's more overtaking, and in terms of strategy, there's going to be lots to play out in this 200k race. I also think at the moment it's also great to have Mark Winterbottom at the top of his game. He did a great job yesterday and currently leads the championship, Rusty. I mean, a little bit of weather this afternoon, they're also forecasting.
Absolutely. Looks like it could be rolling in this afternoon. That's what the forecast is saying. And I've had a few wet races around here over the years in the wet. And because of the nature of the circuit, it's very tricky on when to know to go to wets and dries. It's not the same as other circuits as well. So if you throw in a bit of wet stuff in between, man, it could really change what's actually going to happen in the outcome.
And that's what we love about this game, isn't it? You just never know what might happen. Now, as you say, Mark, Pro Drive Racing, Mark Winterbottom in particular, with a target on his back, certainly here today at Barbagallo. Clean sweeping, qualifying, and then going back-to-back in races 7 and 8. He hasn't actually gone back-to-back in 3 years, and he hadn't put it on pole since November 2013. So it's been a little bit of time between drinks for Frosty, and you could just see the confidence radiating out of him after standing on top of the podium yesterday.
Well, I think two things. We saw at the Grand Prix, they were dominant there, 1-2s in each of the races. They were very good in Tasmania. And now in Perth, that performance yesterday was great. And the biggest part of it is there's 29 points separating the top 4 in the championship. And Mark Winterbottom from Pro Drive, representing Ford, has gone to the top of the list. Fantastic.
Yeah, just right where he wants to be. Jamie Whincup, of course, sitting there in second. He will not be happy about that. He was leading the championship coming here to Barbagallo. But we have a busy, busy day on track today. Of course, we'll have one final practice session for the V8 supercars before they head out for qualifying a little later on this morning. And then the big one, the 200-kilometre race, 83 laps. Race 9 of the championship, and of course double points on offer. We'll also see the Dunlop series in just a couple of moments time for races 2 and 3 today, and V8 Utes of course will be in action as well. So a busy day. Settle in at home. It's going to be a great day of racing here on Fox Sports, but let's hand it over to our commentators for the Dunlop series this morning. Good morning to Greg Murphy and Greg Rust.
Good to go with the second race of 3 this weekend at the UBET Perth Super Sprint for the Development Series. The Dunlop Series celebrating a milestone weekend here, the 100th championship round. Greg Rust and Greg Murphy with you in commentary. And we take a look at a roll call of former stars in this sport, Murph, and some champions as well that have gone on to race in the main game. 2003 champ Mark Winterbottom. There's Chaz Mostert, another guy who's had success in this game. There's Frosty. McLaughlin, of course, 2012 success story. And Dale Wood, who now competes for Brad Jones Racing. It was fantastic to do that just a short time ago. Here's a closer look at the Barbagallo Raceway.
Yeah, 7 turns, Rusty, 2.4 Ks in length. Not a long circuit, but an exciting one to drive. It's very undulating. Up through turn 3, you climb even more as you turn left. Up through 4, you peak at turn 5, then it drops down into turn 6 before you have the big climb back down the main straight to turn 7. So some challenging corners here to make sure we get them right, but also it creates some really, really good racing. We've talked a lot about the surface here at Barbagallo. That adds to that whole concept of being able to manage and be patient with the tyres, look after them, and get to the end of these races. 3 28-lap races for the Dunlop Series this weekend, so a challenging mix for these guys, and they are certainly getting some decent experience, and Rihanna Crean is down on the grid.
Yeah, but it's actually just had a couple of spits of rain. It has just cleared up now. The clouds are coming in a little bit darker here today at Barbagallo Raceway. Chris Pither, you had the pole yesterday, but Cameron Waters, he had the speed at the back end of that race.
Yeah, definitely. We had some good pace when the tyres were fresh, but they did go off faster than Cam, so we made some changes overnight. Mixed our tyres up for race 2 today, and hopefully we can have a bit more consistency.
On the front row again, good luck.
Thanks.
His words are mixed the tyres up for today. The observation from a couple of people we know down on the grid there that they're in pretty reasonable shape, and so too his stablemate in the Matthew White operation, Jack LeBrock, who celebrated his first Dunlop podium yesterday. He drove very well.
Yeah, he did. He drove fantastic, and that is going to be the key. 8 Dunlop control tyres for these guys for the weekend, including qualifying and the 3 races. So it is a tricky one for them. A lot of them doing a lot of learning.
Paul Dumbrell, the clouds are getting a little bit darker. It's a bit of a mixed bag on tyres for this race.
Certainly is. With only 8 tyres this weekend, it's a bit of a fruit salad. So hey, we'll see what happens. If the rain comes this afternoon, it'll certainly make it interesting.
Sounds like a bit of a wiggle song. Good luck, Petey.
Hopefully I don't make me sing it. So
fruit salad.
Yummy, yummy.
Let's take a look at the highlights from race 1 yesterday. Great start by the pole sitter Chris Pither, who lost a lot of time. No track activity for him in session 1 on Friday. Bounced back to grab the pole position. Cameron Waters then began an attack in that NZ Ford. Terrific stuff too, the Plus Fitness entry. Aaron Russell yesterday, he was kind of man of the match performance, wasn't he? The lower 50% in quali.
But there's Cam Waters making the move on LeBrock to take that second spot. And there was a bit of angst here. And this went on afterwards, actually. The Matt White Racing team went and spoke to Jason Barguana about that move that Cam Waters had there. And then this was the one for the lead. Again, he's just pushing Pither over, trying to get some more room to avoid the crisscross of Pither down the front straight. Simon Evans had a bit of a struggle. He's learning a lot as well. Moved backwards. Shay Davies just taking him there. But Cam Waters, he was pretty unstoppable through the race and dominated. Oh, Douglas caused a bit of smoke down into one, locking the inside front. Paul Dumbrell, he's showing some of his drifting skills through turn 1. The management of the tyres, the key here. But this guy, he looked to, in the end, to do it pretty easy and managed the 28 laps better than everybody else.
He's, never really jumping out of his skin, either in the car or out. Like a really calm guy, Cam Waters, but man, was the body language of the car told a very different story in the races yesterday. He was fired up about winning that.
He reminds me a lot of actually of Scott McLaughlin, just in that demeanour. He's very cool and calm and just sort of doesn't seem to get flustered about anything. When he's driving the car, you can see that he's not using a lot of energy. You know, he's doing it all very, very smooth. And, that's going to be a good trait for him moving forward in the future.
Under the watchful eye of the Pepsi Max crew as well, he'll be in the mix somewhere in the Pro Drive racing operation for the endurance event. So they're watching their guy here. This is all good training for him as he eyes up an important role in the Enduros for that operation. So Chris Pither, the Kiwi, to the right of you. Your screen, voice of Michael Massey, race director. Formation lap about to start. This one, as Murph said before, is 28 laps. We'll take a look at how they'll line up. So Waters, courtesy of his victory yesterday, important to note that this is a progressive grid scenario. They qualify, where they finish race 1 determines how they start race 2. So Waters on the front row alongside Pither. That was an excellent performance as well by James Golding yesterday, just outside the 10.
Yeah, there was a lot of shifting late in the race, back through the pack. A lot of guys finding that they had some speed left in their cars and had looked after their Dunlop tyres really, really well. And as we see the back of the grid there just starting to form. Andrew Jones, really disappointing from him yesterday. They had a pressure relief valve in the engine, in the oil pump stick slightly open, and it dropped the oil pressure in the engine, and it meant that he had to tour the pits, and they decided to look after the engine, make sure that they didn't damage it, and so he had a DNF. So there's the points. Waters has jumped out, got that 20 points over Dumbrell, who finished 4th yesterday. Wasn't too much of a shuffle in the front end of the finishing order there. Waters, as I say, he took a little bit of time to get towards the front, but Pither starting second on the outside rather than the pole position. So these guys, again, will be interesting to see how they have managed. As you said, Chris Pither before sort of indicated they might have gone with a bit of a mix of the tyres they used yesterday and maybe put a couple of fresh ones on for this one. So important to try and think ahead to the last race, the last 28 laps that they've got to do later this afternoon.
Round points so far this weekend. Waters in very good shape. You saw the updated overall championship point score a moment ago. Paul Dumbrell, observation from Saturday's competition was maybe a little conservative. Let's expect the champ to step things up today. That's a definite thing. And LeBrock as well, taking a similar approach to Pither in the mix of tyres for this one. So they should be, we believe, in strong shape tyre-wise for race 2. So let's see what unfolds here. Good to see Bryce Forward back in the pack as well. The Challenger entry, some bodywork, loose bodywork issues yesterday for Brett Hobson and the crew. They have done a remarkable job with that Challenger Commodore after the big crash on the streets of Adelaide to get back here. They worked until 1:30 a.m. on Friday morning on the car, and Bryce Forward damaged the left front of the car in qualifying. Didn't take part in race 1 yesterday. Damaged the control arm. They've repaired it. He's back in action today. Awesome stuff for the 16-year-old who's left school and now just focuses on racing. We're good to go. Race 2 of the Dunlop Series here in Perth.
Will Waters get away clean?
Held them for a while.
Oh, but there comes across. He got a lot of wheel spin. LeBrock is up the inside. Right on the grass. LeBrock's got the clean run. Pither got a shocker. He's lost a couple of spots from the outside of the front row. Josh Keane running wide.
I tell you who's had a great start here. Aaron Russell, 3rd position. That's a great job by the Novocastrian. Back to Pither. He's lost some spots, as you can see. Fighting with Hazelwood. Morris has recovered from all that argy-bargy going into turn 1. He's just behind him.
Beautiful start for Aaron Russell. He's just been showing such good form of late. Great to see the young guy so positive and excited about his racing. James Golding takes a spot away from Jacobson. Down the inside, but a great start. LeBrock turns the lights on. Pither and Dumbrell. Pither managed to get up the inside of Dumbrell down into turn 6. He's going to look for the crossover. It's Hazelwood. He's taking advantage of that. He's got the overlap on Dumbrell. He's looking to push him back another spot. So Paul Dumbrell, poor start. And the move that Pither put on him has left him high and dry. Morris is going to get in there too.
That left mirror,
a touch.
Left mirror for Hazelwood is hanging, but man, that opportunity opened and bang, he was in there at turn 7. Great move by Hazelwood. The champ fighting now with Morris, Shea Davies, and Golding. He is on fire this weekend in the 99. Jesse Dixon rounds out the top 10 behind this group. Look at Shea Davies.
Defensive by Dumbrell. Morris is going to try and get the nose in here. He's wide. Dumbrell very wide. Davies.
What's going on?
Well, this could be something to do with their strategy on the tyres, Rusty. 28 laps on a set yesterday. They are not in good condition after 28 laps around this place. I know we get banging on about the tyres and the track and everything. Golding here on the outside. Shea Davies is going to look to take advantage here by getting an overlap on the GRM driver. I think he's done it too. He's managed to slot up the inside. Is that Andrew Jones?
Could be. I think it is. I think it is Jones.
Maybe that problem that he had yesterday with that pressure relief valve not fixed. So, yes, it is. Andrew Jones, his weekend of woes continue. Golding and Davies going at it. Superb drive yesterday by Shay Davies to bring his car well inside the top 10 after starting way back in qualifying. Wasn't happy with that performance. Here we go. Dixon now. Jesse Dixon, he's got the line on Golding. It does not take much around this place to start finding yourself out of sync on the wrong side. Golding's going to run down the outside. He's got a great drive high. Now the drag race. Down the hill.
Good battle going on behind there as well, involving Josh Keane and Simon Evans. Have a look here. Yep, so Shay Davies having a look. And in behind him.
There's side-by-side races going on everywhere. Davies and Dumbrell moved him right over. Davies got the inside line. This has not worked out good for our 2014 champion at all. Sliding back.
Golding wide here through turn one. That opens the door for Jacobson. But Golding holds.
Simon Evans in the background, just lingering, looking to move forward.
Good result for the family overnight. Of course, his brother's been racing at Spa as we look at LeBrock closing here on Cam Waters, but a result in the LMP2 class, very good for Mitch Evans at Spa.
Amazing. It's his debut in an LMP2 car and at Spa. Did an amazing job. Led the car home, took it over the finish line after slicing through the field after they had an earlier drive-through penalty. So great result for him, for the family.
Prototype sports cars, we're talking about the Spa 6-hour, very famous race. Meantime, his brother in that 111 entry at the back of this group. Here's Simon Evans going through.
Golding went in there very late, did a nice move. Has pushed Dixon wide. He recovers from that. Plenty of action going on here.
Keane's having to defend Simon Evans in the background. Macaulay Jones closing as well. Macaulay in 14th place. Replay of the start.
Look at Russell. Look at Aaron Russell. He had sort of nowhere to go. Morris went way to the inside, even using more than the track limits.
Looks like a few miscued there or something, but great anticipation from the likes of, look at Aaron Russell. He is away. Morris gets forced wide by the 35.
LeBrock's start was a gem also, and that set up his position here. Right behind Cam Waters, Pither. This was the replay of the start. Oh, the touch. Wow.
Maximum braking, and look at that straight through. Hazelwood had a demon start, and when that opportunity opened, he wasted no time.
It was brilliant to see some of these young guys not afraid to take it to the experience.
Awesome.
The experienced guys. Got some attitude on the Falcon. And there's Andrew Jones. So disappointing for him.
Jason Bright in the background there. You'll see him in action later today in our coverage, practice qualifying, and the big 200K still to come for the main event.
And as you said earlier, for Andrew, the pain of having to start at the back of the grid again for the last one, that progressive results, setting up the grid. Aaron Russell, very aggressive there to go down the inside. It's too early to be doing that.
Hazelwood looks fast.
He needs to be very careful on how he uses up the rubber here, but doing that is going to exaggerate the loss of speed. And Hazelwood's quick. He needs to be patient also. Now he has the overlap, so he will get the run. And it meant that that move that Russell did before was a little bit pointless. He's let him down the inside there. He's just got to be patient and maybe let it come back to him later in the race. Don't be in too much of a hurry this early on.
The game really did change for Aaron Russell at Queensland Raceway last year. That podium, for memory, it was a turning point for him in confidence terms. He works closely with Morris, but here we go.
Look how he's trying to get back to the right-hand side very quickly. The car moved because of the lack of grip, and that alone is going to hurt those tyres.
Young James Golding is ahead of the champ as Keane goes round at one. He'd been having a terrific weekend up until that point. He'll be bitterly disappointed about that. Got in the top 50% in qualifying. Let's take a look here. So Dixon, Evans. Now, was there contact with Evans? There was. How will that be viewed by race control?
It's a difficult one. Clearly, Simon Evans did have an overlap there, and maybe the gap just got a little bit closed.
Andy Jones heartbreaking again for the second time in the 2 days.
Yeah, unfortunately, same issue. Yesterday, you know, you could deal with it a little bit. Today, I'm a little bit more agitated about it. You know, we looked at it, or the engine guys looked at it last night. They felt that, yeah, they came up with an answer to the problem and it would be fixed today, but it looks like it's not, so a bit disappointing. And then I just saw Josh got turned around as well, so the only good thing to come out of it was his flick spin looked great. So anyway, we'll see if we can fix it again.
The viewers that weren't watching yesterday, it was low oil pressure that took you out of the race.
Yeah, and same again today, just an oil pressure warning light. So, I mean, the issue that we had yesterday, we could have carried on, but the problem with it is, you know, these engines, they're $100,000 a pop, and if you lunch one, it's, you know, it's a fairly good old gamble, isn't it? So we need to stop, unfortunately.
Thanks, Andy.
Thank you. Let's hope he comes back strong in the final race today, and crucially, we regroup in 2 weeks' time. The championship's at his home track at Winton in Victoria. He'll be good there, Jones. As Russell, maybe Aaron Russell has saved rubber here for the final race. Maybe he's a bit compromised here, Murph. Just trying to hang on.
Quite easily be the case. There's no doubt that there's many, many different ways to get through these 3 28-lap races with only 8 tyres. And potentially, I think we know that, I would say Paul Dumbrell done that and maybe has paid the price a little bit more than others for this race. So he'll be hoping to settle down. I would have thought he wouldn't have thought he'd dropped that many spots that early on in this race, but it just highlights the difference and how much is taken out of these tyres. Russell runs wide. I don't think he meant to run that wide and give that spot away that easily to Paul Morris. I think he was just compromised going in there, trying to keep the car as straight as he possibly could.
That Plus Fitness Falcon is actually prepared at Paul Morris's workshop at Queensland, or in Queensland, I should say, and he's up there often on the tools himself, Aaron, rebuilding in between rounds. Back to Chris Pither, chasing Jack LeBrock. Both part of the same racing group here, run by Matthew White Racing, a guy who's been involved in the sport in 93 of the 100 rounds staged so far. That's either as a driver or team owner. Jacobson now is chasing his teammate Dumbrell. What's your observations of Dumbrell's car here?
I think if he was going to explain it, there's an example of it there, just through turn 3, the wobble. And this was Jacobson having a crack at his teammate. Got down the inside, but PD, being the whiz that he is, just managed to get the crossover again, get the overlap, and then create the position as Jacobson does it again. So there's clearly more grip in the 54. And this time Jacobson was able to get it turned and block the crossover coming back at him. And he's clearly got more speed. So PD's paying the price here, which means we'll have to keep an eye on him in race 3. Rihanna.
Yeah, I have spoken to the team at Eggleston Motorsport in regards to Paul Dumbrell. Initially, they thought it was because he has used a mixed bag of tyres for this second race, but now they're thinking that he is struggling with an engine drama. They thought it could have been to do with his throttle, but now they actually are thinking that there is an engine drama with his car, so disappointing for Paul Dumbrell. He's just going to have to get through this race and try and get it fixed for the second race this afternoon.
Less than 18 laps to go. It's a long way, Rihanna, so fingers crossed for the champ, Simon Evans, in the 111 back in 12th. Jesse Dixon ahead of him in the Heyman Reese entry, and
he might have an engine problem too, but that car does not look happy to me, Rusty. I mean, he's sliding through here. These guys behind him, they will have a compromised tyre situation.
Car on the circuit, as we spoke about, we need to look after the tyres.
And there was Cam Waters getting some information there. But everyone's compromised on the same things with the limit on tyres. So, but you've got cars here like Jesse Dixon and Simon Evans who are trying to take advantage. Oh! Dumbrell trying to come back across. And you could see that Simon Evans had an overlap. I think he backed out of that quite nicely to ensure that there wasn't more of an incident there, Simon Evans. So a little bit lucky. He'd already been involved in that moment with Josh Keane a bit earlier too. So interesting to talk to him later about his race, which has been entertaining so far.
He got in there, didn't he?
Oh, he was in there. PD tried to come back across, as I said, looking for the crisscross. But there was a car that he was clearly not aware of.
Meantime, Macaulay Jones is gradually closing on that group. Evans having a look now at 6.
Easily. Getting it done easy too. Very easy down the inside.
So Paul Dumbrell is outside the top 10, and his main rival coming into this round of the series, Cam Waters, they were tied on 288 points after the Clipsal 500. Waters again leads the way. Dumbrell is down in 12th.
Next. Matt White Racing, guys. Jack LeBrock. He was a little bit peeved yesterday, Rusty, when I spoke to him. He was not happy about the move that Cam Waters put on him. They had a bit of a touch down the front straight when Waters was passing him for that second spot, and him and Matt White, they took their case to Jason Bargwanna and said, hey, listen, what's the go here? You know, we didn't expect that this was part of what we're supposed to be doing, and they had a bit of a discussion about it. But he said yesterday, him, the speed, it was a bit of the car, it was definitely a bit of him learning about the process of managing the car throughout the race on this circuit. And today, it looks like he's done a bit of work in all those areas, and he's travelling along pretty good. Chris Pither, he was pretty happy with his car, and really just said that Cam Waters had just a little bit more speed on him. He was a bit nervous in the rear, and they were working on that through last night, looking at the data. 3 cars in this operation, able to spend a lot of time. Stecky.
What a weekend he's had.
Gets the Storage King Commodore back on the track. But that's been a pretty costly off for him.
Another of the young guys in this sport, just 16 years of age. We go to another replay. Down at turn 6. This will clear up, though, what happened to him.
He just locked the inside front. The right stopped turning, and at this place, at Barbagallo, you need all the paws to be doing their job, and when one stops doing its job, being able to recover and keep the car on the road is near impossible.
He's back in 24th position now. Taz Douglas is 18th, and we'd expected to see him fighting around about 5th or 8th spot, but he's been having all sorts of dramas with this car. They've tried softening the suspension setup. They've gone to a stiffer setup as well, and just hasn't resolved the issue. So he's immersed in trying to solve that. Right now, Douglas is in 18th position.
And Chaz Mostert actually just watching on this race next to Cam Waters' dad, and I'm sure a bit nervous, also a bit excited that Cam's doing a really sensational job in this race.
Yeah, for sure. I can actually hear his old man's heartbeat coming beside me here. So, you know, it's good to watch a young guy. I've been in development series with this team. It's, you know, when we got time, not from the promotional stuff, we're always down here watching our, you know, younger teammate do a good job. So, at the moment he's doing a really good job. He's actually probably quicker than what I was when I was in DVS. So, I better watch out for my job, I think, in the coming years.
I believe Cam's on the tyres that he ran in yesterday's race, so his pace is pretty sensational in this second race.
Yeah, he's a young guy with great skill, and it's not the easiest way to drive a car around here. It's you know, the surface is one of the highest degradations we go to, so the DVS guys are actually probably doing it a bit harder than what we are this weekend. We got a few extra set of boots, so yeah, he's doing an awesome job. Get him some good practice for the co-driver stuff this year.
We'll leave you to it. Thanks, Chaz.
Thanks. Common theme is the Fords are fast at Barbagallo this weekend. Those Pepsi Max crew cars very good in the main game. Rusty French, team owner, in the centre there, just over in the back left. Tim Edwards watching on as well.
Well, if we look at that, Rusty, the Fords are to the fore here at Barbagallo for sure in the DVS Dunlop series. Oh, Pither, this is going to be costly. Whoa, great recovery. But the last thing you want is a flat spot on that wheel, on that tyre. He got away with that one, only just. The first Commodore is James Golding for GRM, back in 8th position.
And that's still a standout performance from him. Shay Davies having another good outing here. He's 7th. Todd Hazelwood and Aaron Russell. Hazelwood is 4th and Russell is 6th. In between them, Morris there in the United Falcon. So Davies getting closer to Russell by the looks of it. Golding right there in the 99 as well.
He's closed up a big gap as Shay Davies on Russell. So keep a bit of an eye on what happens here, because I mean, he was flying yesterday. Made some good progress through the field. And he's looking to try and move up the grid for the start of race 3 later on. And then we'll see who's got what left when it comes to the tyre situation.
Mix and match. What did Dumbrell say? A fruit salad. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Chris Pither, a 58.56. Shay Davies has got some great experience that he brings to the table from other categories, Carrera Cup and the like, but he's really starting to come to grips with this development series car now. He's in car 90 there. Ahead of him from Newcastle is Aaron Russell, Newcastle, New South Wales. Real family operation. His dad on the radio. He's got cousins here and all sorts, all helping him chase the dream.
Yeah, well, Shea Davies and Todd Hazelwood, I caught up with him before, and you know, the biggest thing for them is just learning about how to use these cars in qualifying and maximise when they're on a new tyre. And that's what caught them both out. They sort of didn't quite get it right. Todd Hazelwood said he didn't get the brakes up to enough temperature on that first qualifying lap, and that was costly. Shea Davies just not getting the most out of it because of the lack of time that they have spent, the lack of experience. But clearly they've got very strong cars over a long distances. Davies looks to get his nose just inside of Aaron Russell, which I think he's done. Russell moves him over, though. Moves him right over to the side of the track.
This is all good for James Golding as well. That's helping him in the background. Davies is eager to get this done. Out of 7, hounding Russell. Having a look at 1, shows the nose, not close enough.
Oh, and you've got to be really careful. There's still 10 laps to go. And as we said before, driving the car offline and putting it in a position that doesn't want to be in for the optimum line just starts to take the edge away even quicker. So here we go. This is the replay just a few corners earlier, but Russell, oh, Davies touched the back of that car too. That's high speed, well over 200 k's an hour as they're cresting the hill. And then Shea looked to try and get the crisscross, but he was just a little bit too far alongside Aaron Russell. Unable to get it done this time. James Golding looking on, looking to take advantage of anything that might happen here. Davies takes a dive, gets it done clean. He's going to have to slow it up because he might just... Oh, now he's going to try and do the same thing, but unable to get back.
Nice racing by Aaron Russell in the 58.
This is not done.
Look at Golding. He is right there. This is terrific stuff.
He needs that patience too, just to wait for the right opportunity to stick his nose in. But Russell fighting for this position. This determines the grid for the last one, and he's very aware of that. Hither now, back on the tailpipe of Jack LeBrock.
We've got traffic coming into play here too, so that's Hobson. I think they've just rounded up there in the 24. So the gap is 3.8 seconds between Cam Waters and these two. Their teammates. LeBrock trying to fend off Pither at the bottom of the hill. Oh, there's a contact there.
Teammates going at it.
I think that's Taz Douglas peeling off, was it, into the pit lane. So he's down in 24th position. Shame for Taz. On the Bathurst podium last year. He'll be back with James Moffat for the Enduros with Nissan Motorsport for this year's endurance races.
We talked about Bryce Forward at the start of it. We saw him lining up at the back of the grid after not competing in the race yesterday after damaging his car in qualifying. And he has moved up to 15th position,
That's
Rusty.
a great job.
So a nice drive. He's right behind Renee Gracie in the Fujitsu entry.
This is Douglas here. He has been away in between the Clipsal 500 in Adelaide and this round of the championship, but in the build-up to Clipsal, he did a lot of the preparation work on this car. But he's been perplexed by some of the issues with it so far this weekend. The damage you can see to the left front there, but the concern was more in the area of the engine, whatever the problem is. So back to Pippa having a look at turn 1.
Doesn't sound right to me either there. Rusty, it's obviously got some sort of maybe a misfire going on, something to do electrically. Russell still holding on to that position from Shea Davies.
The damage there to Russell's car, was there? At the rear.
Yeah,
so
we can see damage on the, definitely the splitter there on Davies. Look, there's a piece of the splitter at the sort of top corner there missing. So that fight has been continuing.
This might clear it up. Let's have a look here. So Shea Davies left of your screen. Russell.
He's gone in very late. Wow. How did that not end worse? I'm not sure, but I think Davies just overcooked it slightly.
Dry Aaron Russell. So is he got a left, a right rear flat by the looks of it?
Yep.
Oh, man, what a shame. Meantime, Golding looks like he's moved by Shea Davies. Golding is up to 6th. Aaron Russell, you've got a feel for him. That battle continues. Davies has got a good run out of turn 6, and he may regain the spot under brakes at 7 here. Big lunge. Holds it.
James Golding, he keeps it narrow, Shea Davies, too, to block the the crisscross.
So there's a bit going on in pit lane. We'll go there now. Here's Rihanna.
Yeah, just want to update you with Taz Douglas. He's got an engine misfire, so they're going to wait to the very last lap and send him out on the final lap for this one.
So back it.
Leoncini just running wide down through the bowl as we look at the battle for second position. Still continuing Aaron Russell. What a disaster for him. Now, Rusty, the thing about this, it's got me. I think, you know, someone's probably going to look into, Jason Barger will probably look into that incident between him and Shea Davies. But as I was saying before about, you know, blocking and using up those tyres and being defensive, sometimes you've just got to think about the long game on that whole one, and potentially I reckon Aaron Russell was fighting hard, and then you need to fight hard, but he was obviously struggling, and someone else behind him was pushing very hard. So we'll see what happens with that one, but it's worked out pretty badly for him, and he's going to be way down the field for that final race. So disappointing after fighting so hard and doing a nice job this weekend.
Will there be a post-race hearing into that involving Davies and the contact perhaps with Aaron Russell there at turn 7? Clearly, he's ended up with damage to that tyre, and it's taken him out of the game. He's gone wide.
He keeps it on the concrete, but he's given that second spot away to his teammate. He will be furious with himself. I was just going to say what an amazing job he's been doing. He's really stepped up, moved forward.
Hazelwood looks strong in the background here too in the 35.
Doesn't he?
He's coming on at the end of this race. Let's have a look at this again at 6.
He just maybe went a bit deep. He just knew he wasn't going to get it turned without locking a brake, so he straightened the car to avoid snatching the inside front, and it's just dragged him so wide. Very lucky not to end up in the sand. Rihanna.
Yeah, watching on with keen interest is the Enduro co-driver, or the co-driver of Jack LeBrock, Ash Walsh. Jack doing a really sensational job this weekend in the Dunlop series. That one, probably not the greatest moment for Jack, but he really is doing a great job.
Yeah, Jack's really turned it up this weekend. He's running in second place there, just a little lock up into the bowl and dropped to third. But yeah, showing some great pace out there, really going well. So he's just starting to come on in time for Enduros. I'm really looking forward to it.
Looking forward to seeing him in the main game. Good luck for the weekend.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
That apron around the outside of turn 6 certainly saved him, didn't it? That's
No
new
question.
for 2015.
No question, but it's still so difficult when you do run wide. There's no grip on that concrete, really. So it just gives you that little extra room to hopefully gather it up. Shea Davies has managed to put James Golding back that spot. Investigation into contact between car 58 and car 90. No real surprise there. So we'll see if something is done during the race, or they'll look into that afterwards, but clearly it is going to be looked into.
Boys are guiding Golding there. They call him Bieber in that team. And he has done right across the weekend so far. I was getting some good advice from Gary Rogers when I dropped into the transporter before the start of qualifying, actually. That was yesterday, and he's just come on in leaps and bounds here, and super stuff by Hazelwood too. To be in 4th position in car 35, demon start by him, and then made a big dive bomb pass at turn 7, and it's worked for him. Absolutely worked for him.
Just looking at the lead, just changing ever so slightly. Cam Waters, I'd imagine, is really managing what he's got going on here. Pulled that lead out to well over 5 seconds, and in the last few laps, Chris Pither's pace has been a bit better. He's reduced the gap, but with only a couple of laps to remaining, you would think that Cam Waters has got this under control and just managing the race to the finish. Obviously, we've got another 28 laps for the Dunlop Series coming up this afternoon. And going by this one, Rusty, I would say she's going to be another cracker.
Pither still holds the fastest lap for the race so far as we take a look at Golding's progress in recent laps. Back to the front, 4.1 seconds. As Murph said, he's just maintaining it. It was out as high as 4.7 seconds. Just nursing it. What shape will Waters' tyre bank be in this afternoon for the final race?
Yeah, great job.
Hazelwood putting the pressure on. He's coming fast at the finish. Some fantastic drives here for some of these guys that have got such limited experience managing their cars on this tricky Barbagallo circuit.
He's one of those young guys, Todd Hazelwood, that's really professional in the way that he goes about his racing in this iSeek Falcon. I mean, even this morning, text messages just letting you know what's happened overnight with the car, etc. He just loves it and has had an excellent run in this second race of the weekend. He's getting closer here.
Oh, we saw LeBrock lose that second spot to his teammate just a few laps earlier. Everything's on the limit, but here he comes. The number 5 NZ Falcon from Pro Drive Racing Australia. Cam Waters, another superb controlled drive to take another win here at Barbagallo.
Congratulations.
Well raced. You drove through that traffic very well. Excellent management.
Here's the word again.
Underline those words, yeah, that's exactly right. And can he make it a three-peat? Final race still to come. Only 8 tyres for the weekend to juggle. Here's Macaulay Jones running right with the champ, Paul Dumbrell, who is back to 10th in this one. Terrific result by Macaulay Jones, but the defending champion not having a great run in race 2. Here's Simon Evans crossing the line in the background. Take a look at the results from this second race of the weekend, but the NZ Falcon has led the way. Cam Waters, Pither, a good job by both of the Matthew White Racing entries, but LeBrock having that moment down at turn 6 in the latter part of the race, and that allowed his teammate through.
Yeah, it did. And the standout for me on that one was Paul Dumbrell finishing 10th. Macaulay Jones, great job there to move into 11th. As we run back through the end, there's Taz Douglas, Andrew Jones, both with those problems with ending their races in the pits. The highlights, well, there was quite a few, and it started right at the beginning. Paul Morris on the grass, and Pither didn't get away cleanly, which gave LeBrock the opportunity to get up the inside. Put a little bit of pressure on Cam Waters early. Golding, looking strong. He had some pace.
Down the inside, and there was this elbowing going on, and Hazelwood, off the back of a brilliant start, wasted no time sneaking through at turn 7. Keane unfortunately went around as a result of that contact with Simon Evans. Is that another one that will be looked into by officials post-race? Dumbrell, well, he was a focal point for us, but unfortunately for him it was for the wrong reasons, Murph. We expected him to be fighting at the front. Had an engine issue apparently with that car, and then this contact with Evans, but you're not convinced it was just the engine, that there was perhaps more to it for him in this race?
Oh, just looking at the attitude of that car as poor old Kurt Kostecki makes an exit stage left into the Barbagallo sand. It was a tough one for him. Yeah, but, you know, Dumbrella's car still didn't look right to me. We're not sure about the combination of tyres. There's Cam's dad, Chris, and Chaz Mostert looking on. Davies, he pushed hard. Him and Russell had an epic fight going on, which in the end didn't end well for Aaron Russell. And here it is. There's the contact. Davies climbing up over the backside of Russell, and that was the result. Late in the race, LeBrock done such a great job in second. Gave it away to his teammate. But it was all Cam Waters again.
Cam Waters, 2 from 2, and another solid, very convincing win from you.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. We put a couple of tyres on the car, tried to save a few for the next race, so thought the start might have been a bit tough, but got an awesome start, better than yesterday, and yeah, managed to get a gap and win again, so yeah, pretty stoked.
Another one this afternoon, we look forward to it.
Yeah, thank you, should be good.
Hoping for 3 from 3, Cam Waters. The clock shows you, bottom left of screen, that it's not long until practice 4 in V8 Supercars. There's qualifying still to come, and 200 Ks this afternoon with the threat of rain as well. It's going to be an awesome day here at Barbagallo.
Yes, that's right. Not too far away now from the final practice session for the V8 Supercars. So let's head down to pit lane for an update and say good morning to our motorsport insider, Chris Stubbs. Hi, Stubbsy.
G'day, Jess. Good morning to you. Look, the situation at the moment down here is that Shane van Gisbergen has certainly raised a few eyebrows yesterday afternoon, admitting he was effectively throwing that second race. Now, to recap, he qualified 18th, decided he'd bomb around on a set of old tyres, and he ended up finishing last in 24th, costing himself around 10 championship points. That means, of course, he now has a set of tyres up his sleeve for this afternoon's race with the double points on offer. So, the variable in that is, of course, wet weather, which is expected, but at the moment we think it's going to be after the race. So that would take away his advantage, but certainly plenty of pointers still to play out. Others along pit lane with an advantage at the moment, of course, Garth Tander, after he had a DNF yesterday. Those tyres completed just 7 laps, so he can pull them out this afternoon. He didn't use them in the second race yesterday. The other one, Scotty McLaughlin, of course, a DNF. His tyres have done 11 laps. So plenty to play out this afternoon, but a few guys with some aces up their sleeve. Every cloud has a silver lining, Jess.
It sure does. Strategy is going to be very, very interesting this afternoon. Thanks, Stubbsy. I'm interested to get your thoughts, Scafey and Russ, on the strategy that we've seen so far, particularly from Shane van Gisbergen. He's put a fair bit of pressure on himself for the race this afternoon.
Well, Chris Stubbs covered that very well, in that the real variable might be the weather, but the other variable is qualifying. So if he doesn't qualify at the front, and you're at the pointy end, then using those tyres won't be an advantage. So what's actually happened is today you've got to use the hard and the soft tyre. Those guys like Tander, McLaughlin and van Gisbergen have got fresher hard tyres, Russ.
Well, like as Stubbsy said, a few teams have frowned upon doing that sort of thing, effectively throwing a race. Look, it is legal. You're allowed to do it. There's nothing in the rules say you can't do it, but it is a big gamble. I mean, he's going to have to qualify at the front to make use of those tyres as well. So, someone like Shane, I don't think he cares what the other teams think. I could give the strong tip.
Rusty, is that a tactic you've ever used before? Has it paid off for you?
I've used it more than once, because being a person, again, that doesn't care what anyone else thinks, and it didn't work once. But, geez, I felt good for a little while.
Well, of course, the other big story today is Craig Lowndes. He is sitting on the brink of achieving 100 race victories. He has an opportunity to do that later this afternoon. Now, all the Holden fans here, certainly, I think all the fans in general really, would love to see him achieve that here at Barbagallo. And no one more than our very own Greg Martin.
Yeah, just one of the big stories of the weekend is the 100 victories, or the anticipated 100 victories by Lowndesy. And you've sent me up to the hill to try to find some Lowndesy fans. It's not real hard. Mate, you've got the Red Bull hat. Is today the day Lowndesy's going to get it?
I hope so. I think he'll go close.
Is today the day Lowndesy's going to get his 100?
100, definitely. Go the Holdens.
Mate, what do you reckon? Will he do it today, get the 100?
I reckon the 100's today, for sure.
Is today the day he's going to win his 100?
Yep.
And what are you going to do when he does?
Cheer.
Is today the day?
Oh, there's always hope.
Will he win his 100th today?
Yep.
And what are you going to do then?
Oh, celebrate hard.
What happens when he gets that 100th? What are you going to do?
Oh, spear tackle a Ford fan.
Well, there you go, Jess. A few Ford fans might disagree, but 100% of Lowndesy fans are keen to see him get the ton.
Oh, thanks very much, Marto. We need to keep an eye on that hill. When he does it, there could be a few people falling over.
Exactly. Spear tackles, they're banned, aren't they?
But look, it is a really big occasion for Craig this afternoon. How do you rate his chances of pulling it off, Scafey?
Oh, he's had 15 wins here. He's got great form. Winterbottom is the speed guy at the moment, but Craig will be hard to beat. You know that he's hard to beat any time.
Yeah. Fingers crossed for him, no doubt about it. All right, time for a very quick break here on Fox Sports. When we come back, it is time for the final practice session for the V8 supercars ahead of qualifying. Stick around. It's coming up live from Barbagallo.